Hey, Mike and Gretchen, it's Max. I want to go over the market analysis, the latest information on Woodhaven. The first thing I do is go to public records and I pull up what the vital statistics are on the house. Public records are usually accurate, but there can be some problems with those numbers. As you can see right here, the sale price of 55,000, not accurate. But it gives me the lot size as far as 5.25 acres, the number of square feet that represents. Uh, it gives me the above ground and the basement square footage, finished square feet. Gives me some of the vital statistics as far as the beds and the baths and all those numbers. And so from there, I go to the MLS and I search for comps. So when I pull up comparable homes, I'm going to look within a 5 mile radius of Woodhaven. Now that's a pretty large area. It's much larger than I usually use, but being such a unique property, it's not like Highlands Ranch and there's tons of Richmond Aspen models or whatever. It's a very unique property, so I have to use a bigger radius. But typically, people looking at this caliber house will be willing to travel a few miles to get to the right one. So I'm looking within that 5 mile radius of Woodhaven, looking for active, coming soon, which is kind of a new category this year. Pending, which is under contract and closed within 90 days, 3 months worth of sales. We're in a very fluid market that is changing by the week. So I don't want to go any more than 90 days, but again, since it's such a unique property, I have to go back a certain ways to get a decent number of comps. Other than that, I'm looking in the price range between 500 and 800. Last time it was on the market, we stopped at the price of 789 was the last offer price. And I'm looking for things that have at least 4 bedrooms and at least 4 bathrooms. Other than that, the lot size, I'm looking for at least 4 acres. Okay. So that's pretty much the criteria. And when I do the search, I come up with these 10 properties. One of them that is active and on the market. So that's a good sign for you guys that it's a supply and demand thing. Within those criteria, there's only one available within a 5 mile radius of Woodhaven. One that's under contract, and then 8 that have closed in the last 3 months. So I take all of this data and I put it into my own spreadsheet so that I can organize it and make it a little bit more visually understandable for my presentations. And so here's my spreadsheet breakdown, and I make 3 different spreadsheets. One just for the active properties. Now in this one, there's not a group that we can find averages. It's just this one, and we want to look and see how it compares to yours. Yours is a larger home. Right now, I'm just going to look at the numbers. We're not going to look at the updating, upgrading, cosmetic offerings on these homes. We'll do that a little bit later. Right now, we're just looking at the spreadsheet, looking at the numbers. And so it's a bigger home. This one has been on the market for 17 days at 740. And the lot is right there, a 5 acre lot. A little bit newer home than your current or Woodhaven house. It's pretty close. It's within a mile of Woodhaven as far as the distance. This is the distance from Woodhaven. So here are the 2 that are under contract that somebody showed enough interest in to write a contract. We're not exactly sure what they wrote the contract at, but this price was what they were asking at the time it did go under contract. So both of these weren't on the market very long, so they probably didn't come too far off of these prices, would be the guess. But we won't know until they close exactly what the final numbers are. But how they compare to yours, uh, like one more bedroom, one less bathroom, smaller house, and the finished area is smaller, and the total area is smaller, significantly smaller houses. But these are all on that 5 acre or more property. This one's on more than 5 acres. And it talks about the basement finish. So the numbers, Woodhaven is the biggest. It's the biggest house that I think is in any of this list at all. It's the biggest. And then here's the sold. So these are a little bit more solid, or these are solid numbers. These are the prices that they actually sold at. So again, they have the same physical 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, but Woodhaven just has a lot more square footage outside, maybe bigger bedrooms and bigger living space. So everything's bigger about Woodhaven, except some of the lots are, just a couple of the lots are bigger than Woodhaven's. On average, they're right there at the 5 acre lot size, and they are closing at 700. And that's what the under contracts averaging 700. So I will send you detailed links so you can open up all of these listings and see how they compare to Woodhaven as far as the finishes and how they look. There's probably 2 definite issues that you know about that I'm going to reiterate on Woodhaven is the structural, and then there's also the cosmetic. So there's a lot of updating that's needed. And now, since the renters have been in there, a few different renters have moved in and out, I would imagine that there's more that needs done. But actually, the renters probably haven't caused that much damage to things that weren't going to be replaced anyway. So there's those 2 items, the structural and then the cosmetic of Woodhaven. There's a lot of money. So it's a big house, but it needs a lot of updating in the bathrooms and the kitchen, and just a lot of updating. And then even taking care of some of those cracks and some of the damage that is formed, that once the damage and the movement has been stopped, if it can be stopped, then there's some of the damage that was caused, the cosmetic damage, that then needs to be addressed also. And that retaining wall that was an issue when you purchased it is still an issue. So I think that with the numbers that are so big on Woodhaven as far as the beds and the baths and the square footage, it could be balanced out with this number and just say, for an average price, that somebody can own a bigger house, but that bigger house has some problems with it. So if we look at the dates on some of these, there's 3 of them that were built in the last 3 years. These 2 were built in 2017, and this one was built this year. And so those are going to have a lot of nice modern features to those houses. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you need to be at 7 or lower. But I wouldn't be anywhere beyond $700,000 for Woodhaven. When we stopped at $789,000, we were far off from any offers. So I'm going to send you an email that has all of these properties, and you can open them up and look and compare the finishes to Woodhaven. I'm just going to open up this first one. This is the one that's active on the market at $740,000. They're currently asking $740,000 for this property. And then besides reading the statistics of the home, you can click through the photos, which will give you a good idea of the setting and the finishes in the home. So this is the only one that's active on the market that's 5 acres or more, 4 acres or more, that's available within 5 miles of Woodhaven. And so you can click through the photos and look at the finishes and see what the houses look like, if they are totally finished out like this one, or if they are in need of some updating and some upgrading. So I'm not going to take the time here to click through every one. Like I said, you'll get an email that will have all of the comps that came up. But I feel there's some significant money to be spent in Woodhaven. It could easily be in excess of $100,000, easy. So that's the information I have. I think by pricing it at 700, I think that you can entice some buyers to at least take a look.